Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Kaon, aka Kaon puts you on, and today we are talking about the death of album Rollouts. As always, if y'all like the content, man, hit me with a like and subscribe and comment what you think about the video. If you agree, disagree, I'm just here for the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I like to talk to y'all. Let's get into this. Initially, my inspiration for this video was, or is, Kanye West and Tyler, the Creator mainly. There's some other people in there as well. I initially was seeing like Tyler, the Creator's rollout when he dropped Call Me If You Get Lost. Even something like Igor had a slight rollout as well. And Kanye throughout his years has basically had an album rollout for almost every album, damn near. He did something. I started to see a lot of those videos pop up on my page, and I was like, wow, people don't really be doing album rollouts. And they haven't really, like, in a long time. I mean, some people, of course, still do albums, but it's very few and far between, and I genuinely get surprised when it happens. I basically want to talk kind of about how this isn't really done, and how I believe and why I believe like this needs to happen a lot more. Like, album rollouts should be in every single album. It should be done for every single album. Let's get into like things that I think are great album rollouts, and then we'll kind of go into something that like what I think the standard is. So for a great album rollout, Tyler, the Creator did Call Me If You Get Lost. He put up some billboards that said Call Me If You Get Lost, and it had this number pasted on the bottom, and if you called the number, it basically like had like a ringtone like call me if you get lost, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's dropping something. Of course, this was an album. And he also dropped 4 or 5 videos, snippets of a few songs from the album, which I thought were great. They made me super excited for the actual album, and they weren't full videos, so you didn't get the entire song, so it wasn't really like a single. It was almost like a snippet of singles that you would get from like an MTV previewing the song, like what's dropping this week, and it would be like a preview of the song or the music video or whatever. I love this, bro. I loved this. I genuinely would play it on my TV all the time. I play What's Your Name over and over and over again, just that snippet. So when the actual song came on, like our actual song came out, I was hype. Bro, I was getting into it, bro, because I was like, I haven't had this song, and it's been replaying this snippet, this 30-second snippet that's been replaying on my TV for weeks, bro, for like a week and a half. And so I finally got the song. I was so excited, and it like felt like something that had not been done in a very long time. I really hadn't experienced that since I was a kid, of kind of hearing songs like maybe on the radio and having to wait to get to the album, because everything now with technology and everything is just so accessible. Everything is just right in front of you. So having this kind of like making me wait for something was kind of nice, actually. I mean, in hindsight, I mean, while you're in it, you're like, damn, like just drop the song already. Like, this is annoying. But like looking back on it, that was nice. It was nice to kind of have something that I couldn't instantly obtain, right? And he did this for a couple of songs. What's Your Name? I think Lumberjack. With Lil Uzi, I think he did that for like 2 other songs as well. And he created this imagery behind it. He created this, he created the ambiance of the actual album, as well as like give us just new visuals that were really nice. They're really curated. They're intentional. They're beautiful. The color palette is all consistent. The themes are all consistent. So it was just really nice to have something like that presented before the album, which really got me excited for the album. And I always knew and was always reminded of the fact that this album was coming out. And something with like Kanye. He does stuff usually a little bit more low-key, or did in the past. He had some performances on select music channels, award shows that were pretty cool. He had kind of concepts and themes behind his albums that were really nice. He would have listening parties even back from like College Dropout days, I believe. So it's cool to see Kanye still doing that if you know about his current rollouts now, which we'll talk about later in this video as well. Yeezus rollout where he projected it on screens, which were actually really hard to find. Same with Life of Pablo. He had a massive listening party with a ton of people, ton of celebrities, and like great visuals came from that, and he previewed his new clothes, which were really, really cool. And I think when we think about rollouts, we think a lot about before the album actually drops, but I think there are cases where the rollout is still happening as the album has dropped. Kendrick had The Walls. There's like performances like with The Weeknd performing at the Super Bowl. There's many things like that of we have performances that are like genuine performances. They're not just you going up and saying something or like singing your song. There's many things happening in front of you that kind of reference the album, that reference the song, that reference the theme, color palette, the clothing. And so we have someone like The Weeknd doing that. We have someone like Kendrick doing that. And it's beautiful to see. He even did that with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where he had a performance. I think it might have been on Jimmy Kimmel or it was on some award show. But he performed Father Time. And I really like, especially when they do these performances and they set up like a background and they set up these different things that reference kind of the album and what's happening and the themes of the actual album. That I would include in an album rollout. So album rollouts are very expensive. I think that's the first initial reason on why album rollouts aren't that accessible or happen that often. Especially for minor artists or smaller artists, it's hard to do album rollouts with limited budgeting. With maybe your album isn't as conceptual. A lot of new age artists don't really have conceptual albums. So doing an album rollout really isn't possible when you don't have an overarching concept, overarching theme. Maybe you haven't really thought about the color palette or like how you want to dress for these music videos. So it can make things really hard if artistically you're not solid in all areas. Because you have to think like, you got to make a video to a 16-track album that you just made, and you got to make smaller videos, cut it down, or make posters, or projections, or maybe have multiple listening parties. A lot of these things are exhausting. You've already created an album, this body of work, this beautiful culmination of everything you had to give. And now you have to do a video for it. You have to cut it up, chop it up, edit it, direct it maybe. Maybe have a wardrobe, maybe have a videographer in place. These things aren't very accessible to the average artist, right? So you really can only look at bigger artists to do this. And smaller artists do have album rollouts. I do remember seeing one, Paris, Texas. They're not like super small. But I remember seeing Paris, Texas have somewhat of an album rollout where they had jokes and like they're messing around and things like that. So it does happen, but it's just really hard, bro. Like who wants to do all that? Like if I had to make a rollout for this video or like multiple videos that I made, gang, I'm not doing it. I dropped tracks. I dropped a mixtape. I was not doing no album rollout for that. Bro, I put in so much work already and I gotta do an album rollout. And in hindsight, like if I had the time, the luxury, like while I was in school to do an album rollout, for sure I would have. But it's very hard to do an album rollout. However, my argument is you should be required to do an album rollout. Look, bro, look, calm down. I know I just said it's hard. I know I just said it's hard to do, okay? I know I just said it's hard to do. But I think album rollouts have been like pivotal in terms of like garnering an audience, garnering fans, and these like it's very crucial to adding layers and meaning and depth and remembrance to your album. If you're an artist right here listening to this video, please make an album rollout and send it to me, please. Because look, bro, I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but when I look back on things like Call Me If You Get Lost, when I look back at like Life of Pablo listening party, when I look back at Yeezus rollout, when I look back at these different performances by these various artists, these are things that I remember long term. Even if I don't remember the actual songs or the actual music, I remember the rollout because of how good it was. This was an artistic endeavor within itself. This was something that gives you more context, imagery, gives you more weight to your actual album. And I think that's irreplaceable. I think that's an artistic endeavor that is irreplaceable, like every other artistic endeavor, but it's connected to your album. So now I'm remembering if I remember your album rollout, it's in my mind, then I remember your album. And if your album was also good, which is like an added plus, I go listen to your album because I'm remembering this rollout. When I think of Call Me If You Get Lost, I remember the rollout. When I think of the rollout, I remember Call Me If You Get Lost. Same with all these other rollouts. Like it just reminds you of like the great thing that was created. And I wish it would happen more. I know it's hard to do. It's not the easiest task in the world. But I think there's a lot of impact, a lot of vibrance, a lot of beauty. And I think it's just so lacking to have a good album rollout. Like I'm just remembering, bro. Current album rollouts just aren't hitting, bro. Like, and that's why I'm asking for good album rollouts. Like they're not hitting. For example, like I think the current trend has been like listening parties. Like Kanye did one for Vultures 2, and they're just walking around. They're just sitting there. They're just standing, bro. They're just standing as the music's playing, which I can do myself. I can walk around listening to the music. Like I can do this in my house. I'll put on the speaker. I'll get a fog machine. I don't need this. You to play the song while I'm there. And I paid for Kanye's album listening party. That was my fault. That was my fault, okay? I paid $160 for it. That was my bad, okay? I know, but it pissed me off because I'm like, bro, we could have had such a cooler album rollout And now you're seeing Kanye, he recently like performed. He did an album listening party, but he actually performed. Much better experience. Many more clips from that. Like, a lot of people liked him more. Billie Eilish had a listening party too. I'm like, what are y'all doing with this album rollout, bro? Y'all go on interview sprees, but y'all not making like videos and like clothing or things like that for the actual rollout? Like, what's happening, bro? What are we doing? Like a Billie Eilish listening party? Give me something better, bro. One album rollout that I thought was really cool was Bando and the New Stone, or New Stone, Bando Stone and the New World. Childish Gambino or Donald Glover. That was a crazy, beautiful rollout. Perfect rollout. He did a whole VFX thing. I don't know what was happening, but it was sick, bro. I think it's for like a movie that he's making or something. But that was a rollout in itself. It even had branding merch. Like, he had a Spam hat, but it said Bando on it. It was crazy. Beautiful. Amazing. That's what I'm asking for. Is that too much? Is that too much? All I'm asking for. Is that too much? But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for this video. I want album rollouts. Please make more album rollouts. If you're an artist, please do it. As always, bro, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. This video was more just supposed to be like a lighthearted, kind of like not too deep, analytical type of video. I didn't want to make it too long or none because I know the last video was like 30 minutes. So I want to have like variety on the channel and things like that. I might make a video doing reactions or something soon. But yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, check out my other content. If you like the video, make sure you hit me with a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought, what you're thinking. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna probably pop out 2 videos this week, maybe 3. I want to get more videos out per week in general, but it's really hard with like work and time and life. So we're struggling to like kind of find that balance. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm also gonna start streaming. So check out my Twitch. I have like 30 followers and I get no views. Okay, so if you join, it may just be me and you in there kicking it. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You ain't gotta say nothing. Just kick it with the homie. But yeah, I just enjoy kind of like streaming while I'm playing the game and stuff. Nothing too crazy. But as always, man, thank you guys for tuning in. I love you all and appreciate you all. Be smooth, be easy, be smooth. All right, peace out.